Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Division 2 Round 1 at Red Bull Ring. This is going to be an absolutely fantastic series in the GT3 cars for SSR, which is powered by So What Electrical. If you're in Hamilton and surrounds, stop putting it off and make sure you call So What, the professionals for tidy electrical work. Give them a call on +64 20 4158 4777 or shoot them an email at sowhatelectrical@gmail.com. So What Electrical, switch on with confidence. This is going to be a fantastic race here. Red Bull Ring, 50-minute enduro, of course mandatory soft and medium tyres. I'm really looking forward to this race here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So we are just about to get ready to go green light racing. This is going to be a fun one. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The cars are just lining up on the grid now. The lights are starting to light up red. We've got SRT Vroom off pole, followed very closely by Jansen in the qualifying there. Unfortunately, we didn't get the info across as we see Jansen with a fantastic launch in that Peugeot. Wow, what a start. Into turn one. So we got 3 wide through turn 1 there. Everyone's seeming to get through unscathed. We continue down through the field. We've got Scuba there in the Ferrari in 5th place, followed by Mozza Wily Coyote in 7th, just ahead of Osto in 8th. So another couple of Ferraris out on the field as we see one of the Magnet men, Gary, in that really nice looking Mazda. Oh, as we see a couple of cars just touch there. Looks like Scuba's just gone off onto the grass. Slowed down to keep it safe, and Osto taking all the advantage he can. He's going to get alongside Gary, and they're going to go side by side. Gary just being held up by Wily Coyote there. Oh, as they get into each other sideways. They've managed to hold it, but someone's gone off onto the grass and into the wall. A little bit of contact between the pair, but they've managed to keep it racing. Gary now making the move up the inside of Osto. Alright, as this battle continues, Osto not letting Gary get away with that one. And he pushes it around the outside. Gary's now, of course, going to have the inside line for the next couple of corners, but he's dropped in behind Osto. He's run that car very wide there, leaving plenty of room for Zappo. Some really good driving. Osto now making a run, getting away from Gary. As we continue down through our field, we've got Zappo in 8th, followed closely by Snipes and Scuba in 10th. And we've got Flacker in 11th. Logan, who we did see go off into that wall all the way back there in 12th. Our race leader Jansen and SRT Vroom trying to make a bit of a gap from the field. That little Peugeot's absolutely flying. My best guess is he started on those soft tyres. Strategy is going to come down to it for sure in this race. So we jump on board with SRT Vroom as he tries to chase down Jansen. Jump back now to Brocky in the Lambo. You can see the differences on board there in the telemetry data available for the cars. Porsche having a little bit more info and on the wheels, so it's a little bit easier to see as they go. You can see that the traction control is off in that Lambo, so he is absolutely sending it. As we jump back down now to Madrick in the Nissan. Not quite as much easy to read telemetry there in comparison. We go back now to our trackside cameras, try and bring all this action to you live. As Madrick makes his way around the final corner, Mozzie's picked up a 1-second penalty there. That's going to be really good news for Osto to see that. He's already gaining and onto the back of him now. You can breathe easy knowing that if he can't get the move done, he'll definitely get it done at that burn point. So Osto really pushed the car up the inside of that corner there. Sitting right on the back of Wily Coyote. Opts to make the move, which is going to put him around the outside for the corner. He's managed to get it done. But here he comes, Wily Coyote up the inside. Osto, once again, putting the foot down with all that V12 power, making a bit of a charge through the field early. Obviously started on the softs in comparison to some of the other drivers that might be out on the mediums there, doing a bit more of a fuel save. Strategy's definitely going to come down to it's a 50-minute enduro. We're only 4 minutes in. We've already seen a ton of action so far. This battle's still going on between Osto and Wile E. Coyote. Osto's finally managed to get the move done, and he'll be breathing easy knowing that they're coming up to that penalty burn zone. Oh, as Osto, unfortunately, just gets it a little bit wrong. They end up going too wide. And here we go. Now he's going to be able to breathe easy. Really good battle there between the pair. And here comes Gary. He wants to get back in the action now too. Alright, as he makes his way around the final corner of lap 3. Very long way to go. That car is absolutely looking fantastic in the sun. That chrome just reflecting all the paint job. We're going to jump on board and have a look inside the Mazda. It's one of the only cars so far that we haven't really seen inside of yet. Of course, we did do the commentary for Div 1 first. Now we're here in Div 2. Looks like quite a lot of data there on the inside of that wheel. Sorry, the dash, I should say. And he does have a video rear cam from the inside, so if he is one of our drivers that does race in VR, he's going to have plenty of information there to look at, which will be fantastic for him. So we jump back now to Zappo and the BMW there, Mad Mower Motorsport Racing team, the Kiwi team. Absolutely fantastic to see these guys on track. His teammate had a fantastic driving Div 1. Quite a good finish. Of course, his teammate's car is the yellow variant, where Zappo's is that green colour. And it looks absolutely fantastic, as it looks like he's just starting to gain a little bit of ground on the back of Gary there. So we'll keep on with that action as we continue down through the field. We've got Flacker in 11th place in that Nissan. Fantastic livery. Logan making up a bit of ground now in that Porsche. As we jump back to our race leaders, we've got Jansen in first, followed by SRT Vroom. Of course, SRT Vroom did qualify in first place, but Jansen just had that fantastic launch in that little Peugeot, and it is absolutely flying. We jump back on board with SRT Vroom once again as he continues to try and chase him down. Late into the brakes, making up a fair bit of time into that corner. As we see them take off again, that little Peugeot just absolutely flies. We jump back now to Rocky in third place in that Hurricane Chazzy Mostert look. Absolutely fantastic car. Number 97 making his way around. Just holding off Madrick at this point. Madrick's made his way up the field a fair bit from qualifying also. And it looks like Osto's lurking in the background. He's going to have a bit of work to do to catch up to the boys ahead. Madrick running a green time. Osto slightly down. And here comes Wile E. Coyote. He had a couple of really good laps there side by side with Osto. And so did Gary about the lap before that. So it'll be interesting to see if those two can catch back up. Always love to see good racing here at SSR. Fantastic league. We see Scuba making his way down the track. We jump back to our race leader now, coming around the first corner for lap 6. We're almost 8 minutes in. So there's a long way to go yet, ladies and gentlemen. We've got plenty of strategy. We're going to see a huge shake-up throughout the field as these guys do come to pit, as it is a very, very long pit stop here. You're going to be much better off trying to fuel save and stay out as long as you can than you will be trying to... Whoa, hang on a second, as we see Madrick make a move and a little bit of leapfrog. So, a little bit of a switch move back there from Brocky to hold third. Madrick must have just got a really good run. As these two are battling now, it's opening the door for Osto to try and get involved. Maybe slide himself up into slipstream range. But what a great move there from Madrick. And then an even more surprising move from Brocky to get the switch back. This is making for some good racing. Osto looking like he's starting to close a bit of ground between them battling. Wile E. Coyote, Gary and Zappo all having the same sort of battle, just a little bit back from the group of three ahead. So we've sort of broken off into a couple of little race packs here. So Zappo hanging onto the back of Gary, and Snipes now getting himself within range also. Scuba's not too far behind them. So there's still quite a few cars in contention to have a little bit of a battle, as we see Logan's made his way past Flacker now, trying to make up a little bit of ground after we saw, I think it was Gary and Osto sort of into each other a little bit there. It was a bit of contact. We saw that Porsche go straight off into the wall as Gary uses all the track, a little bit extra, trying to get himself away from Madrick now. He doesn't want to be under pressure at all. Madrick was really pushing that Nissan hard and fast to close that gap as quick as he did. Of course, he is part of the Leadfoot Racing team. His teammate had a great drive over in Div 1 earlier today. Osto trying to chase him down for Ned Racing. As we jump back down to 6th place now, Wile E. Coyote. It's a little bit back from the action ahead with those three cars, but look at this, another train of three. So we've got two different groups of three cars, and they all seem to be wanting to play a little bit of leapfrog with each other. So let's stick on with this action and see if these guys can actually put a little bit more pressure onto each other. See if someone can make a mistake or make a move. As we continue down the field, IRL Logan now really trying to put the foot down to catch up to the rest. Flacker's doing his best to try and go with him. We jump back to our race leader, Jansen, making his way around to finish lap 7 and start lap 8. Brocky coming around the final corner, and he's run it really wide. It'll be very surprising not to see a penalty pop up, as Madrick's now right over the back of him. So, under pressure, Madrick makes the move up the inside, thinks of it again. Not enough space there, he says. He's going to try again in a second. Oh, it looks like Brocky's run that Lambo wide again. So, hang on. Will he end up with this penalty coming into these corners? No, he's managed to get away with it. So he's used the absolute limit of the track, would be my best guess there, as Madrick and Brocky really into it with each other, having a fantastic battle. Osto running purple behind them, trying to keep up with that fight. Then we've got Wile E. Coyote in 6th, under heavy pressure from Gary also. So the battles are on all across the field at the moment. Gary in 7th, really pushing that Mazda, and we've got Zappo hanging on to the back of this battle. He's going to be waiting for his opportunity to launch past both of these cars if they get into each other. Snipes in 9th place, 888 Racing. Here we go, Red Bull team. Then we've got Scuba in 10th. Logan making his way up the field a little bit. Flacker still hanging on to the back. So those guys are sort of working together to try and catch the pack ahead. Jansen, our race leader, and SRT Vroom, they've made a considerable gap over 3rd, 4th and 5th. So these boys are out really racing. Madrick's made that move over the top of Brocky. So now Madrick up into 3rd in the Nissan. Brocky hanging on in the Lambo, trying to get that position back as they continue to battle into that last corner. Almost a little bit of contact there. Very close, but I think they got away with it. Osto doing the best he can to try and stay in range of Slipstream there. Looks like he's made up a little bit of ground, but he's not quite there yet. As they continue now onto lap 9 around turn 1. Rocky getting a little bit sideways just off the curbing there in turn 1. And we've got Osto in that V12 Vantage for Ned Racing. Good old Aston Martin, the old girl, as we jump back up to Madrick in 3rd, making his way around. Brocky, we see the car get a bit of a squiggle again. A little bit too early on that accelerator, but he's got a good run out of the corner. Now he's right onto the back of Madrick, right tucked under that wing. Is he going to be able to get a dive? No, not quite close enough. As those cars continue to battle with each other, Osto is slowly chipping away at that gap. We drop back down, we saw the other set of 3 cars behind. We've got Wile E. Coyote and Gary still battling it out. Those guys have been stuck to each other. It's one of the magnet men, that's why. Locked on. And Zappo slowly falling off that pack. He's going to want to put that foot down and try and stay with him as best he can, unless he is doing a little bit of a fuel save. Snipes in 9th, Scuba in 10th. As we continue down the field, IRL Logan Still followed very closely by Flacker. So he's not going anywhere. He's driving the wheels off that Nissan. Needs to stay in the battle. They could be doing an alternate strategy too, with a bit of a fuel saver starting on the mediums. So we'll have to wait and see. Come pit time, everything's going to change in this race. Like I mentioned earlier, it's a very, very long time in the pits. Very slow refuel. As we see SRT Vroom now running at purple, absolutely flying up into that turn there. He is overcorrected, but he's kept the car straight, which is the main thing. He hasn't spun out. So he's going to lose a bit of time off that purple sector, but we did see that previous lap at a 1:30.8, so he's got that Porsche absolutely flying, trying to chase down Jansen, their current race leader. So we go down through the field. Madrick in third. Osto's made the move over Brocky somewhere that we've just missed. So Osto's now up into fourth, and he's trying to chase down Madrick by the looks of things. So Madrick had a couple of laps battle with Brocky. Osto's managed to get past Brocky too. Now he's trying to chase down Madrick. We're on lap 10. We're only 15 minutes into this 50-minute enduro. There's plenty of racing yet to come. We see Brocky now really pushing that Lambo. He doesn't want to lose that battle pack. Those guys have been close as for the last 4 or 5 laps. So we continue down our field. Gary's made the move over Wile E. Coyote. So there's been a couple of changes throughout the field. Gary now up into 6th. Wile E. Coyote in 7th. They're both driving away from Zappo. That gap is opening. So make their way around the final corner of lap 10. Zappo for Mad Moa Motorsport. These guys having a good run as a team so far. I know it's only round 1, but they're definitely having a great run. Good qualifying between the pair of them from each division. So we'll have to keep a close eye on them as the competition continues. As we continue down through the grid, we've got Flacker slowly losing a bit of time there off the back of that Porsche as we go back to our race leader. That little Peugeot starting to open a bit of a gap, which is interesting because we did see SRT Vroom run the fastest lap and some quite consistently fast times. So Jansen must have decided to put the foot down a little bit too. Osto's made the move. He's got it done past Madrick. Okay, so game on. We didn't look close enough before as we were going through, but obviously Madrick's slipped up and made a slight mistake somewhere. Osto really got into that slipstream as we jump on board with Madrick now, chasing down Osto. He's not going to want to leave him out there. Oh, as Madrick gets a fantastic run through those S's, and he's made that move past Osto. As we jump on board with Osto, we can see Madrick right in front. Osto pulling out of that move, not wanting to go too wide there. A bit sketchy as it is. Okay, so now he's back to sitting behind Madrick and sitting in that slipstream. As they go barreling up the straight to start lap 12. And it looks like they've managed to make a little bit of a breakaway from Brocky also. So these guys really putting the foot down early in the race. We're only 17 minutes in. Crikey, Osto's not letting up on this fight as he continues to battle with Madrick. He's not going to quite get there before the end of this corner. So he's going to want to get a nice smooth exit, use all that slipstream, and see if he can get the dive done as Brocky looks to be making up a bit of time too. That Lambo's coming flying through. Gary's making his way up the field now. He looks like he's almost in range of Brocky. Okay, so he's managed to drive away from Wile E. Coyote. And Zappo's about the same distance back, so these guys have finally spread out after about 4 or 5 laps of very close racing. We jump on board with Zappo, make our way around the next couple of corners here. As we continue down through the field, we're now on board with Snipes, also in the Aston Martin. And we'll continue down, we've got Scuba in the Ferrari. well planted. As we drop back down, we've got IRL Logan in the Porsche in 11th place, and Flacker's still hanging around. So these two guys are still using each other to get around the track. Flacker might be saving quite a fair bit more fuel than we're realising, sitting in that slipstream for so long. We go back to our race leader Jansen. He's really opened up the gap now between himself and SRT Vroom. Still hasn't managed to run the fastest lap, but very consistent 131s. As we can see there, SRT Vroom did manage that one hot lap of a 130. As we see Madrick and Osto still battling it out, driving as fast as they can, but not quite fast enough. You see Madrick there with 32s and 33s, where our race leaders are doing 31s pretty consistently. You can see Madrick slowly pulling away from Osto, and Rocky's not managed to reel that gap in yet. So we'll have to wait and see. He may be just trying to conserve a bit of fuel, because when we get to that pit stop, that's where things are going to go very different for quite a few drivers. We'll just have to wait and see how it all unfolds. Wile E. Coyote trying to chase him down. Zappo in 8th. Cameraman falling asleep once again. And there's Snipes making up a fair bit of ground now. He's onto the back of Zappo. He looks like he's in slipstream range, or he will be very shortly. We go down through our grid. Scuba in 10th. IRL Logan in 11th. Looks like he's starting to open a bit of a gap on Flacker now. Interesting to see how much fuel those two have saved at the back of the pack. Our race leader well out in front. Massive gap over SRT Vroom. Not sure what's happened in that last lap for him, but he's lost a considerable amount of time to Jansen on lap 14. So something's happened there. We'll have to wait and see his lap time for lap 14 when he gets all the way around. And Madrick now well out in front of Osto. He's decided he's had enough of that battle and he's going to drive away. Osto not able to keep up those lap times now, as we see them all dropping down to 133s. So a second a lap, that's the gap. And here we go, here's Brocky. Similar times for himself, 34s, 33s. So he's not making any ground on Osto either. Into 5th place, and as we go back to 6, we've got Gary there. Not too bad on the times, 32s and 33s. Of course, our race leader now making his way down pit lane for the first time. Only 4% fuel remaining. So maybe that's why we saw SRT Vroom starting to drop back off the pace, trying to save a little bit more fuel. We see Osto also into the pits now, only 2% left for himself. Way down, he's just gone past Jansen's pit area. He'll be pulling into his shortly. Alright, as the Ned Racing team rip those tyres off and start the slow process of filling her back up. Very slow refuel rate here, so it's going to be very interesting to see where everyone pops out. So we jump back down now to Flacker, who's made it back past Logan again. So whether he's had an incident and crashed, or if something else has gone on, but there's a considerable amount of room between himself and Logan. I'm not sure where he is, as our former race leader now coming out onto the track in 9th place. So a very long refueling time there in the pits. But now he is out on the track and ready to gun them all down all over again. Flacker currently sitting in 10th, yet to pit. Osto coming out in 11th, so something's happened to Logan. He's well back. He was definitely side by side there with Flacker, so would assume that he's had a bit of a Lara Bingle somewhere, and it looks like there was a bit of damage on the front right of that Porsche. So we'll have to wait and see. He didn't come into the pit, so it'll be interesting to see if he does have damage or not, or maybe he pitted a lap earlier and we just missed it. As we are now with our current race leader, SRT Vroom, followed by Madrick, who's actually made up a fair bit of ground on him. We jump on board with Madrick. And now we can see quite a few more cars coming into the pits now on what would be the start of lap 16. both Zappo, Snipes and Wally Coyote, all with very minimal fuels. We continue down. Brocky up into third now after seeing Osto pit. He's got a fair bit of a gap back from Madrid. Be interesting to see how many more laps he can do before he will need to come in himself. There's Gary in fourth place, not too far behind, making up a fair bit of ground and a good run in the Mazda. Very wide car. That does look fantastic in the sun though. As we go back down to fifth place now, Scuba. Of course the order is going to be all out of whack until everyone gets back into their pits, stops and strategies and everything sort of lines up. We see SRT Vroom into the pits with 0% fuel. So Madrick now taking the race lead. And Jansen up into sixth place already. So a couple of positions that he's made up just from cars pitting. To wait and see where, in the overall scheme of things, where that little Peugeot does come out. Of course, he did have a massive race lead, so we expect to see him up towards the front, that's for sure. Okay, the final couple of corners to navigate the end of lap 16 for Jansen. He is going to go past the start-finish line. Before SRT Vroom manages to get a full tank of fuel on. He's going to be just at 60% as he makes his way past starting lap 17. You see, looks like Flacco also into the pits in the background there. We jump back down the field here to Zappo and Osto having a good battle around the last corner. Osto looking to try and make the move to get past, but just couldn't quite get it done. So as they have a bit of a drag race now up to turn one, Osto having the inside line, running the car a bit wide, but Zappo not close enough to get that switch back. So Osto's now made his way back up into seventh place. Zappo's right on the back of him though. So these guys continue to battle. Osto having just enough breathing room to keep it safe away from Zappo as we see Madrick into the pits with 0% fuel. He's actually started on the race mediums. So he was doing all of that battling and racing on the mediums versus the other cars with the softs. So he was having a really good run. You see Brocky also in behind him, 3% fuel, and Gary about the same. So we've got our top three into the pits. Madrick now taking on fuel. Rocky into his bay. So they rip the tyres off that Lambo and they will start doing their fueling process very shortly. You can see Gary also about the same. So these two have come in very, very similarly. Of course, their pit bays are slightly differently placed up and down the grid there. So we can see Madrick obviously first in, but Gary and Brocky had to drive a bit further to get to their bays. So Madrick now, full tank of fuel. And he's going to come out in fourth, just behind SRT Vroom. So currently, we've got Scuba out in the lead, followed by Jansen, SRT Vroom in third, and Madrick in fourth place after his pit stop. See that Porsche just ever so slightly sideways on the exit there. Might have just come on the gas a little bit too early. But he's running away. Scuba out in first place. I would assume he'd be into the pits any time now because I don't believe he's pitted yet. Stay out for one more lap. Just makes his way around. He's had a little bit of a gap over Jansen, so he starts to make his way around that final corner now. So Jansen will be trying to put that foot down to reel him in, unless he's going to start doing a little bit more strategic sort of strategy. We'll have to wait and see. SRT Vroom on his way out. Madrick followed very closely there. into 4th. And we've got Osto up into 5th. He's now on the race mediums. We were looking to push those as far as he can. Managed to get the move done on Zappo 2 laps ago, and he's just slightly opened that gap. Gary now past Brocky, 7th and 8th, having a really close battle. We jump on board there with Gary. Jump back to Rocky's car in the Lambo. Almost looks like that windscreen's got a bit of a yellow tint to it. Try and help with a bit of glare as we see, wow, Brocky really launch it into that corner, sending it almost too far and almost in the back of Gary, but he's managed to pull it up. That is going to cost him a bit of time. I think he's just missed his brake point there and just come in way too fast. But he's managed to make it work as we go down through the grid. Mozzie, Wile E. Coyote in 9th, Snipes in 10th. Logan right there now in that Porsche. He's made up a fair bit of ground in 11th place. We've got Flacker there rounding out the order at the moment. He's got a bit of work to do to catch up to the next group of cars. So we see Scuba, our current race leader who hadn't pit yet, finally in there now. So he's done a pretty good stint in the Ferrari there. Still 3% fuel in the tank as he starts to drop down the order as they rip off the tyres and start that fueling process. As we jump back to our race leader, Jansen now back out in front in the little Peugeot. Absolutely has that thing flying around here. He's having a great time. Not as much of a gap as he had before the pit stops. So SRT Vroom's managed to make up a fair bit of time. And look at Madrick now, up into 3rd place. So now he looks like he's trying to get in range of that slipstream from SRT Vroom. See if he can take advantage of that, save a bit of fuel. And there might be a bit of a battle on towards the end here as we go down through the order a little bit more. Osto looking to try and get himself in contention for a podium, but I don't think he's close enough to get anywhere near a slipstream on the back of Madrick. Zappo wants to hang on to that race there with Osto. He doesn't want to let him get too far ahead. That gap is definitely opening up ever so slowly, lap after lap. Gary, one of our magnet men, in 6th place. And a really good race so far to see how he can manage his second stint here as we are 30 minutes in his 50-minute enduro right now. So we've still got a little bit of a way to go. Brocky into 7th place in the chassis Mostert-inspired livery in that beautiful Lamborghini. Wile E. Coyote in the Ferrari making his way around the last couple of corners there. He's up into 8th place now. We'll just have to see if some of these cars are going to have a second pit or whether they've taken on enough to get themselves down to the end. You see Wiley running just a little bit wide onto the grass. Snipes in 9th. Logan with a 1-second penalty. That's not going to be ideal for him. He's been pushing that car as hard as he can to try and make up a bit of time again. You see Scuba in 11th place. And Flacker having a good run in the Nissan. He is rounding out our grid at the moment in 12th. We jump back into our race leader, Jansen. Looks like SRT Vroom is closing that gap. So Jansen must be on more of a fuel save. Trying to be a little bit more conservative with his fuel and tyres. And SRT Vroom has decided, alright, well, if I'm going to have a chance at taking you, it's now. I need to put the foot down and I need to go. And guess who's coming with him? Madrick. He's now in that slipstream. He's hanging on to this battle. He's going to use as much opportunity as he can to get into contention for this championship battle at the moment. As we can see, 1, 2 and 3 all now flying down our start-finish line, but thinking after the next couple of corners, this might be a bit of a change in the leaders. You see SRT Vroom and Madrick going much faster than Jansen currently. SRT Vroom getting it wrong, running it a bit wide. All that time that he's just made up, he's going to have to do it all over again. Now it's opened the door for Madrick once again, putting the foot down, trying to stay in that slipstream of that Porsche. Nissan having a really good run out of that corner too. See Madrick now starting to make up some ground on the back of SRT Vroom. I'm not sure if you can see that, ladies and gentlemen, but Madrick is doing a bit of a short shift. He's not letting the car rev right out. So what he's doing is taking advantage of the slipstream, staying there with the guys, shifting a little bit earlier. So rather than revving it out and trying to make his move now, he's being conservative, saving fuel, but look at how much time he's also reeling in. Some really top class driving there. Jansen now under big trouble from SRT Vroom. Madrick coming along, waiting for his opportunity. Osto in fourth, now only just making his way around turn one. So there's a fair bit of a gap between third and fourth. Zappo trying to chase down Osto. Not sure, but that gap looks to be about the same, so it doesn't seem to be losing any more time to him. Gary in sixth, making his way around turn one. Brocky in seventh, not too far behind him. And we've got Wile E. Coyote with a half-second penalty. He's just starting lap 23 into turn one himself. Then we've got Snipes followed by Scuba. We can see Logan now into the pits. Seems to have managed to run a fair bit longer than some of the other guys out on the field. He's still got 9% fuel. Surely we'll see him come back onto the softs now. Alright, 71% fuel they reckon's enough to get them to the end. So, the team in the Porsche, they release Logan. He's back out and he's on the softs. He's going to really have to put the foot down. He's got to catch up to Flacker in 11th. I'm not too sure if we're going to see too many other cars pitting again. You see SRT Vroom now. He's made the move past Jansen. He's out in the lead. We jump on board with Jansen now in between SRT Vroom and Madrick, second place. Porsche just getting slightly unsettled coming out of the exit of that turn, but he's got the foot down, you can see it. Okay, as we jump onto passenger cam there with Madrick watching this little battle in front. Jansen not really wanting to let SRT Vroom get too far away. And of course, if he slows down much more, he's going to come under heavy fire from Madrick as we see Jansen get that corner just ever so slightly wrong out into the marbles and trying to cut in. Madrick had to brake quite heavily to avoid contact, but now there's an opportunity. Madrick up the inside of Jansen. Looks like he's going to get this move done, and now he's going to want to maintain that pace and speed and try and get onto the back of SRT Vroom. As we see Jansen all over the back of Madrick there. Some good racing between the pair. Things are getting exciting. We're 38 minutes into this 50-minute enduro, so we don't have too long left. As we continue down through the field, we've got Osto in fourth. Gary making his way around to the end of lap 24, coming around that final corner in fifth place for Magnet Men. And we've got Brocky in sixth. 97 Lamborghini making his way across the start-finish line. And Wile E. Coyote in seventh, followed by Scuba. Whoa, Scuba's sort of coming out of nowhere. Okay. And there's Snipes in ninth place in the Aston Martin for Red Bull Racing. The 888 car looking fantastic on the grid. And there's Zappo. He's dropped down a few positions. He did just pit on the lap before, so he's definitely got enough to get to the end now as we jump on board with him. Brakes, making his way into the corner quite nicely. So we jump down the field now with Flacker, on board with Flacker in the Nissan. It's a bit of a shallower line through there in comparison to Zappo. And now we're on board with Logan in that Porsche. A bit of racing to do to catch up to the cars ahead. We now hit the 40-minute mark, so we've got 10 minutes remaining. As we jump back up to our race leaders, SRT Vroom, now followed closely by Madrick. Madrick's made it past Jansen. We can see Jansen in the background dropping off this little battle pack at the front. So race on now for the next 10 minutes between SRT Vroom and Madrick. See who can be the championship, the race leader for round 1 in Division 2. Of course, all the points will go towards the championship also, so the higher up you finish, the absolute more points you get. As we see Madrick, almost managed to make the move past SRT Vroom, couldn't quite get it to stick. It looked like he wanted the inside, but he just had a better run around the outside there, tried to punch it up the inside, just trying to get a bit of a switchback move, but SRT Vroom too far across to the right. Madrick pulling out, going, alright, I'll find another corner to do it. As we see SRT Vroom now pulling off to the right, trying to make sure that he gets that inside line. We'll wait and see if that was a bit of a mistake or not, but no, it looks like he's managed to keep a fair bit of distance from Madrick in that corner there, so just a little bit of defensive driving, trying to maintain his position here in first. We see Madrick now really applying the pressure to the back of that Porsche. Jansen not too far behind as those guys battle, and Gary up into fourth. As we've seen, Osto just pit on that previous lap, so he's going to lose those couple of positions because of that. Gary having a good run, managed to stay away from Brocky. Brocky in fifth currently. Nice clean exit and onto the power as we see Scuba. Now back up into sixth. Good run. Ooh, running the Ferrari almost a little bit too wide. You see Osto trying to make up a bit more ground, see if he can get up to the back of Scuba or not. Blue Ned Racing entry, followed by Wile E. Coyote, Ferrari. Oh, as we see Wiley have a bit of a swerve moment there. Not sure if he thought he was a bit too much on the grass or if something's happened inside the car, as we see him run it onto the sand there too. Jump on board here with Snipes and the Aston Martin. Really working hard to try and chase down Wile E. Coyote. After seeing those last couple of errors, might have an opportunity to gain a fair bit of ground. Coming up to the end of lap 27. We jump down through the field. We've got Zappo, not too far behind Snipes. Definitely within slipstream range. Oh, as we see Snipes now, off into the pits. Okay, there's not long left, but he mustn't have had enough fuel. 14% fuel. We've got about 7 minutes remaining. Interesting call from Snipes. We go back to our race leader, SRT Vroom, still under heavy pressure from Madrick. Madrick now, we're a lap later, he's decided to send it around the outside this time. Couldn't get the inside move done before, leaving enough space there for them to go side by side through the corner. He's managed to get the faster run around, and it looks like he's finally got the move done on SRT Vroom. He's right there behind him, so we'll have to wait and see if we're coming up into turn 1 here on lap 29, whether he makes the dive up the inside. Not quite enough space, didn't get it done. These guys are nose to tail, close as. Okay, things are heating up. We don't have much long left now. A little bit over 5 minutes remaining of this race, and these two are battling. Alright, game on. Madrick, flat out through that corner. SRT Vroom right underneath his rear wing, not going anywhere. This is a hold your breath moment, guys. No. Alright, looked like SRT Vroom was ready to make that dive up there. Just waiting for his opportunity, sitting right underneath that wing. Getting himself out nice and wide here, so he can get a good run in. Looks like Madrick's managed to just gain a little bit of time in those last 2 turns there. Just putting his car just slightly wider, being able to stay on the accelerator a little bit more. As we continue down through the field, Jansen not too far out of this action. He's definitely on for a podium. Gary in 4th place. If he can keep it fast and tidy, he might be able to catch up to the boys ahead. About 4 minutes left of racing. Brocky in 5th place, having a great run in that Lambo. Running on a green sector for himself as well. There's Scuba in 6th, making his way around. Osto in 7th. Back to running the 131s. Wile E. Coyote in 8th place, followed by Zappo. So some good racing throughout the field, some very consistent times that we've noticed on the right. Flacco running just a little bit wide there into the sand. He's back up ahead of Logan as we jump on board with Flacco in that Nissan. Jumping down to Logan in that Porsche. These cars just seem absolutely fantastically sitting in as we jump down now to Snipes in 12th place, rounding out our grid in that Aston Martin. Looks like he's coming under fire from some of our faster cars. Got a few blue flags out on the track at the moment. And who's that behind him? It is Jansen in 3rd. We go back to our current race leader, 47 minutes of 50 minutes. There's not much longer left in this race now. Might be a couple of laps in it for the guys. We've got Madrick in 1st, followed by SRT Vroom, and then we've got Jansen in 3rd place. Madrick slightly opening that gap now over the top of SRT Vroom. So he's got a little bit of breathing room, but the race is not over yet as we continue down through the order. Gary in 4th place, his way down around the last couple of turns here before he starts lap 31. Massive gap from the top 3 down to 4th. 5th, so Brocky's not too far behind. A lot of work to do if he wants to try and catch him before the end of this. Scuba's within shot of Brocky, and Osto's probably a bit too far back to catch up to Scuba. We've got Zappo coming across the line now in 8th. We've got Wile E. Coyote right behind him. He's definitely within slipstream range, but he's got himself a half-second penalty, so that's going to be very costly. He's going to want to keep this lap as tidy as possible so he doesn't lose any additional time, and if he can get past him before that burn zone, now's the time to do it. Go down through our field. There's Flacco across the line. IRL Logan in the Porsche in 11th, and we've got Snipes now coming around the final couple of turns. We jump back to our race leader. He's just going across the line now. Madrick. Oh, he's now got a fair bit of room out in front of SRT Vroom, but look what's happened on that last lap for SRT Vroom. That is not what he wanted to see with only 1 minute of this race remaining. He's got a 1 second penalty. He's going to need to drive the wheels off that thing to even stay within range of Madrick. So, things looking good for Madrick. Oh, hang on. I told him he had to drive the wheels off it. Now he's running purple. Okay. Let's see how much faster he can go. We go back down to third place now. Jansen had a fantastic run in that Peugeot. The only thing that's sort of come undone was maybe a little bit of strategy in difference between SRT Vroom and Madrick there. So they've done very well to get themselves up the field as much as they have. We continue down through the field. Rocky was in 5th, followed by Scuba there in 6th place in the Ferrari. We've got Osto in 7th. Wile E. Coyote in 8th. Oh no, Zappo seems to have run out of fuel. Looks like something's gone wrong inside the car. Okay, so he's across the line. He's locked in 9th. We'll come back to that a little bit later. So Madrick now across the line in 1st place. Our race winner for round 1, Div 2. Give it up for Madrick. Well done, mate. What a drive. SRT Vroom in 2nd place in that Porsche. Had a great drive. We'll see Snipes come across the line there in 12th also. Jansen in 3rd. Gary now making his way around the last couple of corners. Fantastic drive for him and the Magnet Men. So he's going to get 4th position. A brilliant drive from himself. And there we go. We've got Brocky in 5th. The Lambo making its way across the line. Scuba in 6th. And we've got Osto coming down now across the line. He's going to be in 7th place. Well, looks like he's also just run out of fuel, so he's coasting to the end. We've got Wile E. Coyote in 8th. We saw Zappo run out of fuel and something go wrong there. He had to kick it in a reverse before the emergency would kick back in. So he managed to get himself 9th place. Obviously a lap down. And then we've got Flacker in 10th, followed by Logan and Snipes. So, what a race, ladies and gentlemen. Had it all. That was absolutely fantastic to watch. Thank you very much for having me. Hope you enjoyed the video. And big shout out to So What Electrical for sponsoring the SSR GR3 Championship. Have a great day, guys.